Hello everyone, this is John Borelli. I am the lead API developer for the Plan B Club. Someone asking in the support forum for what you can do with notes in Campaign Builder, and there's actually quite a bit that you can do, a lot more than anybody really lets on or tells you about. And I'm going to give you 6 examples of what you can do. There's really a whole lot more, and it's almost endless because you really aren't limited to Campaign Builder. You can actually show external web pages inside of Campaign Builder's notes. So I'm going to go over that. First example, this is just an image. Now, the image could be a high-level documentation of workflow, just so you have it handy and easy to reference, or it could be your own branding. It could be, heck, you could put your picture in there if you really want. You can have general formatting of notes just to make them stand out better, make them more noticeable, give a better presentation. As you can see here, I have a bevel around the edge of the box. I have the background color and the text color all formatted. You can do things, you can do a whole lot of things with it as far as formatting. Not super important, but it is convenient and helpful to make those things stand out. You can do hover. I can actually make it so that I have something in a note where if I hover the mouse over it, it comes up with a message that tells me, okay, these tags are in this campaign, or these emails are sent from this campaign, or here's a longer description of what I want in this or what I'm doing in this campaign, or any other instructions or information that you want that's convenient. It's one way to share extra information that you don't want crowding your campaign builder. Another use for it is to give details about tags or to give details about emails, etc. You can also show actual HTML pages. You can make mini pages, HTML pages that are either functional or informational. So I'm giving just an example. This isn't super practical, but it does show what can be done. This is being actually running. This is a page that runs off of my development server. And I can put in input boxes and selection and option boxes and make all sorts of things happen on my server from within an Infusionsoft campaign. I could also have a connection back and forth. Given that I'm an API developer, I could say, okay, as a response on my server, as a response to filling out this form that I'm seeing inside of Infusionsoft but running from my server, I want to do these things with my, say, my membership site or with my WordPress site, and then I want to update the contact in Infusionsoft. It would save time rather than having to go back to WordPress or whatever, my WordPress site or my database system, whatever it is, and then come back to Infusionsoft. This would create a seamless integration for any type of activity. So you can see you can have input lines and checkboxes and anything HTML can do, or you could just use a small page of instructions. It's more attractive. You can make it definitely more helpful. You can put images in on that page, and it will all show because it's actually showing the HTML page, not just something you put inside of Campaign Builder notes, but what you're actually showing on an HTML page off your server. Another thing that you can do, you can actually have separate windows come up, smaller windows come up with information as well. It could be the same form that I have here embedded into Campaign Builder, or if I have documentation, or say that I want to make a reference to support information from Infusionsoft, or I have a blog article I want to reference and that's how I'm building the campaign. Click, and there you go. This is just a text version of the code that's used for what I'm showing you right now, but this could be any HTML content. It could be any HTML page, website, whatever you want. And this is a message box, so if it's not as much information you want to show, but you just don't want to crowd your campaign builder with it, which is the reason why I started looking into this in the first place. I like to document the stuff, but I don't want it crowding Campaign Builder. So here we go, message box. As you can see, I have individual lines, and those lines can be used to explain a lot of things or give information that's relevant to what we're doing. So here's how it goes, top to bottom, left to right, or left to right, top to bottom. First thing, the image is simple enough. In a note, these are all notes, by the way. Every single one of these is first accomplished by dragging a note, and that's it. Then the code that you put inside the note is exactly what decides what they will do. So the first one is an iframe. Okay, in this case, this could be an image tag as well. I could just put IMG in here instead of an iframe, but I've been using iframes across the board here, so it just seemed to be more seamless. But you can use an IMG image tag and accomplish the same thing. As you can see, I have source src set to a URL where the image, in this case a PNG file, is set, and then I use the style attribute just to limit the height of the image and the iframe. That's it. So I realize that programming is not everybody's thing. However, everybody does know somebody who's not going to at least be thrown by this. So don't get overwhelmed. This is just showing how it's done. There's a lot that you can do that I'm not even showing, but this is some of the major stuff that you can do. So the format notes is pretty much as simple as CSS, but you don't use CSS in the notes, you use the style tag. So you can see I use a P tag, and the P tag has the text in between the P beginning and the NP tag. All right, I use the BR just to give an extra space at the bottom so it's evenly formatted, but here's what happens. I use style, and then I set the background color like you see here with colon, and that's the color for red. I use color, which is the text color, and I do the same thing. You can spell out a lot of colors in CSS or HTML styling. And then I just to get fancy, I put in a border style for groove, which is why you see this beveled around the edge. You can set the color of that. You can set the width of that. There's all sorts of things you can do with it. So that's how you format them. Hover me. The way that you do this, really not any more complicated than anything else. Again, I'm using a P tag just to surround the element. The element that I'm doing is right here, hover me. That's the actual text that you hover over. I have title. This is available to most elements in HTML. If you say title equals and then in quotes put something, then when somebody hovers over that element, a balloon is going to come up with that information. However, you have to get a little tricky with the return key. Otherwise, everything gets set end to end to end no matter what you do. So HTML has special ways of describing codes. In this case, I want to be able to do a return key. Well, the ampersand in HTML, ampersand pound sign, is a way of saying I want the character that is represented by this ASCII value. ASCII value is just a numeric system that allows you to represent characters. That's really, I don't need to really complicate it. 13 is the ASCII character for a return key, carriage return line feed. So ampersand pound sign 13 is a carriage return line feed. Anytime you do that, you need to end it with a semicolon so that HTML, the browser, knows that that's the end of that special coding. So you can see here I do email 1's name, email 2's name, tag set to enter, tag set to exit. And then you'll notice I do 2 carriage return line feeds, and then I give instructions for campaign sequence, which is why you will see a space between the lines because there's 2 carriage return line feeds. Without them, you would see email first or email 1's name and email 2's name right crowded next to each other without going to the next line. And the same with every line thereafter. That's what that's for. And it's that simple. So if you don't have a whole lot of information, you don't want it crowding your campaign, but you have more information than you want in the campaign canvas, then you can use this just as a hover me for more information, and you will have it pop up. Another thing that you can do here is you can actually have an HTML page from an external website show within an iframe inside of Campaign Builder. The advantage to this, and the cool thing about this, is that you can perform a whole lot of functions. Anything you can do with an HTML page. The only thing you want to do is make sure you make it a very small formatted, because it's not meant to, it won't look right, and it'll be crowded, it'll be cut off if you try to make a note that is an entire web page width under normal circumstances. So in this case, you just design around that. If you want to have a special web page or you want to have special information, just take into account that you want it to be in a smaller area than most web pages would show up. Treat it like you would as if you intended it to go on to a small, maybe iPhone 4. So what you can do with this is pretty much anything you can do on a website. For example, I have here input label. and input box. Now I could have this update a database on my own development server. I could have it update a membership site. I could have it create new members right from within Campaign Builder. I could have it connect to all sorts of services. I could have it fill out information and then push that information into Zapier and Zapier do something with it. There is almost no end to what you can do with this. You just have to be a little creative and work within the confines of the size space you have. But it is a very convenient idea, and I think a very cool way of handling some circumstances. You can also use it just to show information, formatted information that's more attractive and maybe more extensive than what you normally would do. So here I got place face fronting or front-facing instructions that you can modify on your own website, which means you can put this anywhere in any campaign. You change it in one place on your website, and it'll change in all the campaigns. So anybody you're going into campaigns, you have procedures or policies you want to change, you just put it in there. Insert fields that can be used to update information from Campaign Builder directly to your website using iframes. You can also if you happen to be a developer, you can also actually integrate this back into your Infusionsoft app and make changes to fields or add contacts from within Campaign Builder. Add them to the campaign by, you could even conceivably have a drop-down list of your tags right here, apply them to contacts. There's tons of things you can do with this. It's almost endless because you have full control. Once you're talking about a page that you have on your server, you have full control of that, and all you're worried about is being able to embed that inside Campaign Builder with an iframe. The way that this works, same way that the images work, really. An iframe that is tied to an HTML page, or it could be a PHP script that builds the HTML page, whatever web technology you prefer. But in the end, what it comes down to is all you got to do is worry about embedding it into the Campaign Builder, and then the HTML page handles all the work. Campaign Builder doesn't even care. You know, Infusionsoft doesn't care. You can do whatever you want with it. Next one is click for support. Let's say that you have a blog that say that Paul Sokol or Greg Jenkins has just put out there, and he said, oh, I want to do a campaign and use these tips and tricks, and you want to be reminded about some of those details. This is a way that you can do that. You can have a pop-up window that will actually keep open while you're working on this. So I click here. And in this case, this is just the text of some of the code that on my development server for what I'm showing you. But this could be any HTML page, just like this inlaid iframe is. This is a pop-out window that you can simply tab between. Oh, okay, I'm working on this. Oh, wait a minute. How did Greg do that? Oh, let me go back to his video. Very handy. Very handy. Extensive documentation, blog posts, videos off of YouTube or other partners who are helpful. There's really a lot that could be very helpful for. So we have that. And finally, the message box. Oh, I got to show you how it's done. It's really no different than anything else. I'm using a P tag here. The only difference between what I have here for the hovers and the formats is that I'm also adding an on click. Now that is just a way of saying when somebody clicks on this. So I have click me for support. That means this on click means that when somebody clicks the words click me for support, I want you to do whatever is inside after this equal sign inside the quotes. Now, in order to do JavaScript, you can't use JavaScript code in the notes template, but what you can do is issue an inline JavaScript command. What that means is you say JavaScript and a colon, and then you actually can execute a JavaScript command. In this case, I'm using window.open, and then I open the support.html, just to test element or a test page I have again on my development server, and it opens it up in a separate window, and that is how you get this. Okay, so on click, this is going to open up this window. This underscore blank, what that means is I want you to open a new tab or a new window. Now it doesn't know that you want to open a new window yet. That's what the rest of it's for, but it will open a new tab in the browser for sure. The way that you tell it you want it to be a new window is you limit the height and the width. So that's simple. The formatting isn't that complicated, but the third parameter to window.open is height equals 200, which stands for 200 pixels, and then semicolon to separate the element attributes, and I say width 200 pixels, and then I end the quotes. I close the parentheses for the window dot open, and there you have it. You use the end p tag, and you have a very clickable way of providing support, documentation, help, blog articles, videos, whatever you can think of. And then finally, there is the message click box. If you don't have too extensive of a thing, but you want to be able to put up the availability for messages or for new information or just warnings, whatever the case may be, this uses the same approach as the click me for support, only it's to create a message box instead of open a window. So there you go. I have, again, returns. Now, the way that you get the return, the carriage return line feed, is a little different than what you do with HoverMe. So I'll show you that here in a moment, but you can do it. There's just a slight different way, and you can put as many lines as you want in here. And again, you can list what tags, what emails, etc. So the way that that works is the /n. That is basically your return key. That is your carriage return line feed, and I can't really highlight it, but that /n right there is how you create in an alert box, how you create a return key. And the same as you have this JavaScript colon and then you do window.open, you do another JavaScript with alert. So alert, this is a message box, return key that can be clicked for, return key, more information. And then I put just as I did, so I ended in quotes and I end the alert box parentheses with a semicolon and I end the single quotes. Now just a note here, you'll notice that I'm surrounding everything with a single quote on the outside and double quotes on the inside. You could do the reverse, but don't put them together. No, don't use just one. If you use double quotes out here, you have to use single quotes inside. Same with the alert box. If you use double quotes, single quotes out here, then you have to use double quotes inside. Don't worry if you make the mistake. I've been doing this for decades, and I'm telling you, I still make the mistake. So don't sweat it. Just remember that fact so that if you see something not work, go back and look for that. Okay, so then I end with the semicolon, which is how you end a JavaScript command, and the quote, which finishes this part of it. And just like with the opening a window, we have click for a message box and the close p tag. So that's 6 very fine examples of what you can do with notes in Infusionsoft's campaign builder. There are tons of uses for them, and really because you can run pages off of your own server, off of somebody else's server, off of YouTube, off of content servers, off of anything that you want. You can pretty much embed a lot of functionality. It's just up to your imagination. So I really hope that helps. I hope it's informative. A lot of people have asked about this, and I keep telling them, yeah, you can do this, this, and this, but I figured it was time that I, kind of put up or shut up and just showed you how. Thanks a lot for watching, and let me know if there's anything else that I can show you that might be helpful.